So just to give you an example of how the left is shamelessly politicizing what could be a serious issue for the United States, and certainly the administration is taking it very seriously, look no further than Washington Governor Jay Inslee. He tweeted, "Just received a call from VP Mike Pence, thanking Washington State for our efforts to combat the coronavirus. I told him our work would be more successful if the Trump administration stuck to the science and told the truth." Ooh. Joining me now, Kayleigh McEnany, National Press Secretary for the Trump 2020 campaign, and Dinesh D'Souza, conservative commentator and filmmaker, author of the upcoming book, United States of Socialism. All right, Kayleigh, do these people realize how this makes them appear as we could be on the cusp of an outbreak? It could be extremely serious. President says we're very fortunate so far. Good practices.
Yeah, and no, these people don't recognize it. These are creatures of the swamp. These are leftists. These are people who live and exist in Manhattan and in the swamp, and they never leave it. And what is so sick to me is that what is good for America, rather what is bad for America, is good for Democrats. It's incredible that they think this way. They root against the stock market. They root for this to take hold. They have a demented dream of taking down President Trump. It doesn't matter how many Americans they destroy in order to get there.
Yeah, I mean, if they were cheering on, it seemed to be a recession last year. It didn't happen. Thought Mueller was going to deliver. They thought impeachment was going to really be their, nirvana. None of it worked. Then they tried to say Russia was meddling again. That didn't really pan out. So now they think they have him. It's like they think they have,
right,
the Roadrunner. All right, Dinesh, CNN's Pied Piper of Pudding and his bespectacled sidekick are blaming Fox for politicizing this.
If you actually watch the channel, the only people politicizing this happen to be on that network.
It does seem like there's this attempt from pro-Trump media to make this all about Trump and politics when that's really not the arena this is being fought in.
Not the arena that's being fought in. Well, the Media Research Center looked at 44 guest interviews on CNN on February 27, 2020. Out of the 136 questions asked, 60% invited guests, even medical specialists, were urged to criticize the Trump administration's handling of the, quote, epidemic. Dinesh, Stelter must have the biggest glass house in America.
Oh, sure. I mean, the media in general has been all over this and feeding a panic that has obviously affected the stock market. Now, look, Trump is no more responsible for the coronavirus than Obama was responsible in 2014 for the Ebola virus. This is just simple foolishness. But the truth of it is that we've reached a moment in American politics where the Democrats are now relying on a flu virus. They're tying their political fortunes to a flu virus. It's almost like they're turning to this little toxic mite and saying, hey, come help us defeat Donald Trump. Everything else we've tried hasn't really worked.
Yeah, and Kayleigh, the infamously poor predictor of market performance, Paul Krugman, economist, actually tweeted about the Dow going down, and he seems to be celebrating it. Look, he has an exclamation point. He might have had a little balloon emoji there.
This guy's a hack job. He's a horrible economist. He predicted if Trump would win that we would go into a global recession.
Global collapse. Well, finally he got his, maybe he thinks he has his global collapse 3.5 years later.
Maybe he thinks so, but he's wrong. This is the hottest economy in modern history. Paul Krugman, retire from your profession because it's not working for you. On top of that, CNN, you had them cutting away from the president's presser and going to a mini Mike Bloomberg town hall. Really fake news, CNN? This is what we're dealing with. It's why we're going to win in November.
Dinesh, you think this affects Trump in the long term, or is this a short-term hit on the market and, of course, momentary panic?
I mean, the Democrats are appealing ultimately to the bottom of the electorate because there is a faction of the electorate that's going to believe this. I read recently, just today, I think, on social media, there's a bunch of people who won't drink Corona beer because of the association of the name with coronavirus. So these are people who obviously can't tell cause from effect. So there are people who are going to listen to the panic. But I think that the real malady here is not the coronavirus. It's Trump Derangement Syndrome.
Yeah, they're infected with that, that's for sure. Kayleigh and Dinesh, thanks so much.